What's up, everybody? How we doing now? Look, listen, this weekend, UFC 272, Jorge Masvidal taking on Colby Covington for the UFC Championship of each other. What? I hear you say the UFC Championship of each other. They're not fighting for the belt. No, there is no title fight on the line this weekend. They are simply fighting through pure hatred, rivalry. Yes, they want to prove that they are the best, but they want to prove that they are the champion of each other. Yes, that's right. That is a term coined by the great late Muhammad Ali way back in 1975. Thriller in Manila. Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali. These guys hated one another, and Muhammad Ali said, look, listen, I am fighting this guy. We are fighting each other for the championship of each other because they just wanted to prove that they were the best person on the planet. Yes, being the champion, that's all well and good, but more importantly to Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali was proving that they were the best, that they were the better man in the ring, that the history books would show that on that night, Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier was the best boxer on the planet. Of course, as we know, Muhammad Ali got the job done. We don't know how this weekend's going to go down though, right? Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. We know the backstory, okay? They were roommates, they were teammates, they were best friends. It's not a quote a grown man should use, I'm just saying. But still, if you're good friends, be good friends. It's just offensive to your other friends, isn't it? Now, I'll be commentating this fight this weekend. It's under very regrettable circumstances. I'm not sure if you've seen Daniel Cormier's Instagram post, but the poor guy, sadly, his mother passed away last night. So I got a call this morning. They want me to cover him, so I'll be commentating this weekend. So I won't be making a prediction on any of the fights because I'll be commentating. But I just want to extend my deepest condolences. Sorry, Daniel. I really am, on behalf of myself and everyone here on this YouTube community. I'm sure you're all going to join me in wishing Daniel, not wishing, that's the weird word, but just sending him your deepest condolences. It's very, very sad. That aside, what a fight. What a fight that we have. Colby Covington, he's going to come into this one very motivated, very fired up, very angry. We've seen that he does do that. Stephen A. Smith and Jorge Masvidal, they did an interview together and it was a nightmare. It was a car crash of an interview. Stephen A. Smith was even saying, let him speak. I can't do it, Stephen A. Yo, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But he was saying, let him speak, let the man speak, because Masvidal was talking and Colby was giving it that the whole time, and then when Colby finally started, Masvidal was interrupting because they just can't stand each other. They cannot sit there and let the other man say a word without having to fire back, without having to jump in, and that's how bad this blood is. Some people still think that this is a work. Some people still think Masvidal and Colby are just gaming everybody. No way. If you think that, and I've had people tell me, if I believe that they really don't like one another, then I'm out of my mind, that I'm a fool, that I'm a sucker. Oh my God. No, you are the fool and you are the sucker. These guys were teammates. They were roommates, best friends, as I said before. Now they hate each other. So the bad blood is so real. It is real. Make no mistake. But I can't wait for this fight. And the reason I can't wait for it is because, well, guess what? Fights are better when there's bad blood, when there's a grudge, when there's trash talk, whatever you want to call it. Hate that line, by the way. But when there's a bitter feud and an intense rivalry, fights are more enjoyable. Certainly the lead up to the fight as well. You know, listen, I always say I'm a martial artist first, and I try to be a respectful guy, believe it or not. And it's great to see two guys shaking hands and bowing at each other and showing their respect. Fantastic. But what really sells is when two guys are going at one another, when they have to be separated by security, when they're talking shit, when John Jones is throwing his shoe through the MGM Grand lobby. Stuff like that sells. When Mike Tyson is saying, I want to eat your babies, when he's biting at the ankles of Lennox Lewis at the press conference, stuff like that sells. When I'm sitting there alongside George St. Pierre and he's saying, are you intoxicated?
Are you intoxicated?
Stuff like that, that's what people want to see. They want to see a little entertainment. They want to get sold the fight. They want to believe it. And they want to get behind whoever they like. And even sometimes rooting against someone is just as strong an emotion as cheering for someone. It's going to be a great fight. Stylistically, they're both fantastic fighters. They both lost to Kamaru Usman twice in a row, almost each. For both of them. Obviously, Colby had fought Tyron Woodley in between the second fight. But still, one factor, I talked about it recently, is Masvidal last time was knocked unconscious. Colby went the distance with Usman in a relatively closer fight. I still had Usman as a clear winner. A lot of people thought Colby won. I don't agree with that. But coming into this one, listen, it's a striker in Masvidal versus a wrestler in Covington. Real quick, I want to tell you about rockauto.com. If you're looking for car parts and you want the cheapest prices, then you got to go to rockauto.com. They've been in business for over 20 years. Go to the website. They have everything you need. And you're not going to get sold stuff you don't need that at a storefront marked up price. You're not going to have some guy saying, I recommend this, that, and the other. No, you go to rockauto.com. You say that Mike Bisping sent you, by the way, and you'll see, as I say, every part that you need at the best possible prices. That's why I don't even have a code to give you. rockauto.com, or click the link in the episode description down below. It's a striker in Masvidal versus a wrestler in Covington. Now, it's not that simple, of course it's not, but if Covington's going to win this fight, make no mistake, he's going to use his wrestling. He weaponizes his cardio, okay? He fights at a tremendously high output and a high pace, and what he hopes for is that people wilt under the pressure. They try and maintain the same speed, the same pace, and then eventually start getting tired. They wilt, as I say. And then when you get tired, you start to make mistakes. And when you start to make mistakes, you start to fall apart. When you fall apart, you get finished, you get elbowed in the face or whatever it may be. So that's what Colby's going to do. He's going to try and back him up. He's going to throw his light pitter-patter shots. High volume, get him to defend, grab the legs, try and put him down. Problem is, they know each other. They know each other's tricks. When you spar with somebody for that long, you know them inside out, okay? So Masvidal knows he's probably going to start with a double, then to a single, then to a high crotch, then to whatever it might be, to a body lock, to a bloody ankle pick. You know what I mean? Tony Ferguson up in this bitch.
Shut up before I ankle pick you.
Ankle picking motherfuckers all over the place. Who knows? But on the flip side, Colby knows. Here's the combinations that Masvidal likes. He'll start with this, he'll throw that. Now, they've both got good coaches, okay? And they both know one another, and the coaches know one another. But ATT trained Colby Covington for a long, long time. So they really know him inside and out. But that all said, because it is such a grudge match, there is a potential that both guys don't stick to the game plan, right? I always say the best way to go into a fight is cool, calm, and collected. It took me a long time to realize that throughout my career. I used to always kind of get crazy, try and get angry, try and get hyped up. I used to think, if I'm angry, I am a force to reckon with. And maybe against 95% of the people on the planet that works. But when you're fighting the best people, you got to be cool, calm, and collected. You got to be in the moment. You can't be reacting out of emotion. You got to be acting for the right reasons. You know, you got to be acting, you got to be cool, calm, you got to see it, you got to be in the moment, you got to be reacting for the correct reasons, not because you want to tear this guy's head off. And that might be the thing. Look, listen, also another thing to consider is, you know, because they despise one another so much, neither man can pull out of this fight. So first of all, there's a real chance that both guys overtrain, right? There just is, right? Because Covington always comes in great shape, right? But he wants to come in extra good shape. Because I'm sure those rounds are competitive. When they used to train with one another, definitely those rounds were competitive. Otherwise, I don't think either man would have accepted this fight, right? So therefore, Covington's like, whoa, I know this is a hard one. He does hit hard. He's street Jesus, whatever the fuck. He knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds. He knocked out Darren Till. He brutalized Nate Diaz. You know, let's be honest. Let's give him his due. He is a tough fighter. Running, hitting pads, doing jiu-jitsu, circuits, conditioning, you name it. Covington will be doing that. On the flip side, Masvidal's going to be like, all right, well, we know he's a good wrestler. We know he's got high output. And we know he always comes in great shape as well. So make no mistake. He's doing that also. And do you know what is fueling that? It is, again, that fear of losing. Right now, both men are very successful. They've made a lot of money. They are famous all the world over, okay? And they have respect, right? But losing to that man, losing to them, that will keep him up at night. When Fraser lost to Ali, he was never the same. It was a classic fight. The fight got stopped after the 14th round because of too much damage to Joe Fraser. But apparently, by all accounts, I've read books and stuff, Joe Fraser was never the same after that. Could not let it go because he'd failed against his bitter rival. And that's what we're talking about here. So first of all, both guys are going to train like motherfuckers, okay? I just hope they don't overtrain. There is a danger there. Also, what if either of them got injured? I'm not talking big injuries. I'm not talking tearing an ACL or anything like that. But I'm talking about, you know, little bumps and bruises or maybe something a little bit more significant. They can't pull out of that fight. No way. Because the other man would never let them live it down. Imagine if Masvidal pulled out, what Colby would say to him. And on the flip side, if Colby pulled out because of an injury, a legitimate injury, Masvidal would talk about it constantly, call him a little bitch, call him a coward, call him a pussy, say you have no business fighting in the octagon. So there again, there is another piece of pressure. For example, Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 2, MGM Grand, Las Vegas, UFC 66, December 31st, 2005. 2006. I was on the card. I had my UFC debut there. Chuck Liddell fought with a torn MCL for that reason that I just spoke about, because he could not pull out, because there was bitter rivalry, because they used to be friends, but now they are foes. They are bitter enemies, and he wants to get the job done. As we know, Chuck got him out of there in the second, third round, finished him off pretty easy. But still, there you go. Another thing to think about as well is that, typically with Colby, we do see a lot of decisions. I'm not slagging him off, but he goes to a decision quite a lot. Is he going to be content with going for a decision this time out? Or is he going to be intent on getting the finish because he doesn't like the guy, because he wants to prove the point, because he wants to show the entire world, I am leaps and bounds better than Jorge Masvidal. How dare this guy go to a decision with me? I'm going to show him. I'm going to show the UFC. I'm going to show the entire world that this man is not in my league. And Masvidal, of course, will have the same feelings as well. The point of that is that if you're trying to do something like that, if you're trying to force the issue, look for the knockout, prove something to the world, you can make mistakes. And when you make mistakes in the octagon against a world-class opponent like Jorge Masvidal or Colby Covington, things can also go wrong. And also, let's be honest, will either man bend the rules? Will either man look for a little cheap shot? Will there be a little nut shot here and there? A little shoulder poke, maybe an eye poke? You know what I mean? Try and kick it down opponent. You just never know. When I fought Jorge Rivera, I kneed him in the face as he was getting back up, and I had a point deducted, and I was almost disqualified. That's because for me at that moment in time, I wasn't engaging in a mixed martial arts fight. I was engaging in a fight. I didn't go into that thinking I'm going to take part in a professional contest. No, I was going to beat the fuck out of this guy. He had talked a lot of shit. He had done a lot of videos. He had wound me right up, right? And I was like, if I see him in the street, it's on. If I see him in the casino or the hotel, it is on. And certainly when we're in that octagon and the referee says fight, for me, it is on. This ain't mixed martial arts. This is pride and passion right now, and I'm going to win this one. So I dropped him or something like that. I took him down, and as he was getting up, I was just on autopilot. Boom, kneed him in the face, almost got disqualified. Then I finished him in the second round. By the way, it wasn't because of the knee, because he landed his best shot after that knee. I think he dropped me at the start of the second round, but I got up and I knocked him out pretty easy. But that's what I'm saying, because they get so carried away, because they get so emotional. The lines are blurred. Look, listen, this is a vicious sport already. And when you're going a million miles an hour, when the adrenaline is peaking and you're fighting someone and you're punching them in the face, and this is your bitter rival and you're loving it, and you're like, yes, here we go. The momentum is building. The referee's going to stop the fight. And then all of a sudden he does something. You see a shot. Might not be legal, but you think, fuck it, boom, throw it. Oh, stop. So you never know. So there's a lot of things that are going to go on. Also, we got the press conference this week. We got the weigh-ins. We got the stare-downs. We got all that stuff. I can't wait. It is fight week. UFC pay-per-views. They don't get much better than that. UFC 272. Great fight card as well. I'll be doing a video on the co-main event coming up very, 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 very soon. But as I say, I'll be there commentating. Stay tuned all week. Keep an eye out for the videos. Subscribe. Ring the bell. Thank you very, very much for listening. And take care. I'll be back with another video very soon.